Hello, everyone. Dr. Frankie Bashan here, and we are in the Matchmaker series for Love, Laughs, and Lessons. We have an amazing guest on today, and my co-host, Denise Rai. Take it over.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, hello. Joining us today is Laurie Berzack, and Laurie is a renowned matchmaker and founder of Carolinas Matchmakers. Laurie has a passion for bringing people together and she's been instrumental in crafting meaningful connections across the Carolinas. She holds a master's degree in social work, which enriches her intuitive approach to matchmaking, blending traditional methods with deep psychological insight. Laurie's work extends beyond matchmaking. She is a respected dating coach and a frequent speaker at national conferences where she shares her expertise on love, relationships, and how to actually make those genuine connections. Laurie's dedication to helping singles find love is not just her profession, it's her calling. And she continues to inspire and guide her clients toward finding their ideal partner. Laurie, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. It's so great to be here.
So great to have you.
Yeah. So, Lori, tell us, you're a matchmaker. You've been in the industry making love matches for how long?
19 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
19
I was
years.
10 when I started. Just kidding.
Tell us, tell us how you got started.
Yeah, it's a great question, Denise. So it was very natural for me. I've always been a connector, whether it be for friendships or jobs. I've connected a ton of people with jobs, all of the things. And then one day I was talking to a preschool teacher of one of my sons, and she told me that she was recently divorced and she had no idea how she was going to find somebody. And I was like, okay, I got to think of somebody for her. And that's when the bug kind of bit me. And then I did go to an event and I met somebody and I thought she'd be great for the deli guy. And I made that match and they ended up like moving in together and they fell in love, all the things. And I actually got a free pastrami sandwich out of it, which is always a good thing.
Yum.
And yeah, that one didn't turn out, but what was so great about that match is I realized that I noticed that I sort of fell in love at the same time, that feeling of that excitement. It just kind of gets in your blood. And I just love making matches. And then I just went like gangbusters, just telling people, oh, I'm doing this. And honestly, I really had no idea what I was doing in the beginning, but it's like fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
19 years later, large staff covering the Carolinas. I have my own podcast, Love on the Go. Frankie was on it a couple months ago.
So
And
fun.
I love what I do. It's so fun.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
what people ask me, actually, they'll just admire. They'll be like, wow, what a cool job. I'm like,
Yeah.
the best ever. I can't imagine doing anything else.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
totally.
I think
It,
that's the one thing that all the matchmakers have in common is that deep passion.
yeah,
And then, intuitively, we have all been making these matches,
yeah.
right? Like, yeah. And you can't imagine doing anything else, like Frankie said. So,
No,
yeah,
it's so exciting, our work. And
it's
Frankie
exciting.
and we know each other well. We've gone to conferences together. We've had fun in New York City together and Philly together, all the things.
And
And
Mexico
hello. That's
at your
really,
conference.
yeah. And
Oh,
Yeah.
then,
that
yeah,
laugh was a little
Matchmakers Alliance.
mischievous.
Yeah, Lori has an awesome conference that she puts on every year in Mexico. And it was the first conference I'd ever been to in all my years. I think it had been 15 years of matchmaking. I'd never attended one, and it blew my mind. So kudos to
Yeah.
you for putting that
Well,
together.
Thanks. Yeah, the Matchmakers Alliance is a beautiful thing, and it teaches people how to network, how to collaborate, all the trade of matchmaking, all the behind the scenes stuff. It's so great. And Frankie, when you and I first met, it's like we were soul sisters greeting each other again in this lifetime.
Yeah, I was like, I know you. How do
Right.
I feel really familiar and comfortable? It's awesome. Yeah. So
It's so
what a
great.
blessing. And
Really.
it's amazing because it's allowed me to connect. It allows us matchmakers to expand our reach and access potential matches for our clients
Yeah.
at such a
Yeah.
so
greater extent. Yeah.
Yeah, like
for
I
sure.
remember you and I went through, I mean, I basically sent you like
Yeah.
15 or so women in the Carolinas that I thought potentially could be matches for your clients. And I know you followed up with a few of them. And that's how this rolls.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
think out of the box for our clients.
And they're on my radar still. So like
Yeah.
whoever wasn't a
Yeah.
match at the time for any
Yeah.
of our clients, it's like I
Yeah.
still go back to it and look and see, oh,
Yeah.
could this be? And in the future,
Yeah.
there will be somebody that I can
100%.
match with. Yep.
Yeah, we've got a
I think
lot of
it's,
quality in North and South Carolina.
and I think it's important to say for our audience to know that we do collaborate and we do extend the searches for them with
Mhm.
other quality matchmakers. And so, yeah, that's really, and these connections that we make at conferences and, you know, other places that we visit are part of the job. So we're not only just having fun
Well,
Yeah,
and learning.
when you say
exactly.
quality match, like with other quality matchmakers, maybe let's put some words to that for our listeners
Yeah,
to understand. What are we talking
absolutely.
about?
Yeah, so I'm talking about the people that have, like Dr. Frankie, who is a psychologist and a um, board certified sex therapist, and like Laurie, who, you know, they have not only the skin in the game, but they have the education and the expertise and the credibility and the integrity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important because that's who you want representing you, and that's also who you want searching for you.
Yes.
And you know,
Yeah,
it's so key.
yeah, and we're niche matchmakers too.
And you're, yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
Mhm.
Yeah. So Laurie, tell us a little bit about your niche.
Well, my niche is North and South Carolina.
Mhm.
I offer online dating management assistance, like a lot of people do, including you, Frankie and Denise, to clients nationwide. But really, it's the Carolinas folks that come to me for the most part. I have like a really cool little team that I've created of, a photographer, a makeup artist, a stylist, and it's very um, curated and experience when people hire me for that. So if somebody came to me from San Francisco, honestly, I'd probably just refer her to you, Frankie, because you know your area, and I know you're nationwide, but you especially have a lot of contacts I know in California.
Mhm.
So that's my niche, and I really like it this way. Otherwise, I'll just refer people out. Hmm.
And the
I love
stylist can
it.
work with anybody, anywhere.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
can. And that's what we've done oftentimes. If somebody like from Wilmington, North Carolina hires me, we may do like a virtual closet visit. But there's something about going shopping in person with your stylist that it really makes a big difference.
I've done
Seeing
it one time. I love
psychological. Oh,
it.
I've got my person on speed dial.
I
Just she'll help me pack for a conference or whatever. It's
love
great.
it. And I
Mm.
love look at your shirt. Speaking of styling, I mean,
Yes.
you're wearing hearts.
Yes.
I love it.
Hearts.
I know it's so
I need some hearts gear. I know at the conferences, all the matchmakers are like really rocking their hearts, the earrings,
yeah.
the necklaces, the clothes. I'm like, I
Yeah.
need to acquire some of those things. I don't have any
Right.
hearts. I actually have a heart
When,
necklace. Take it
when's your
back.
birthday?
Yeah. No. When's my
No,
birthday?
she's serious. When's your birthday?
I
That's right.
was like, wait, what did you just say? I'm a Sagittarius. I'm
Oh, just like all the people I love in my life. Okay.
really December 14th. But you know what?
Okay.
That leads me to a question because lately this has
Mhm.
been coming up where
Yeah.
Mhm.
catches who are folks in our network or database that we may set up with our matchmaking clients and clients throughout the years have asked, do we incorporate astrology into our matching process? I don't, but I don't know.
Right.
Do you incorporate any of that? Do you believe in signs and matching according to signs?
I mean, I'm not opposed to it. There's a lot to be said. And I've had clients that are like, do not under any circumstances introduce me to a Gemini. And I'm like, okay, got it. And now I'm like, wait, which sign is that? But I've done some funny reels. They're pinned on my Carolinas Matchmaker and on my TikTok Carolinas Matchmaker, where I'm going through all the signs and how they would respond to like first dates and things like that. Just funny. Um, there's definitely something to be said about it, but I don't match that way.
Yeah.
But it's so much deeper than just knowing the sign, right? Just because I had a friend that was an astrologer for Essence magazine, and there was the rising and the this and the
Yes.
that and the this
Yeah.
and the time
Totally.
and the chart and there's so much more, you know, and by the
There-
time you get through all of that,
Right.
you could be
And then
married.
right. I mean, we all know this. And people could look perfect on paper, but they take
That's
one
right.
look and be like, I'm not attracted. So it like doesn't even matter if every single thing is there. It's like that physical piece has got to really be there in the beginning. So
And even
Yeah.
for
focused.
somebody to say, don't set me up with a Gemini, it's like they're not including all the other variables, right? The
That's
rising,
Right.
right.
this or that.
Right.
That's
Right,
right.
right.
A mature Gemini, a young Gemini,
Right, right, right.
what about who the person is, right?
Yeah, totally.
How about
100%.
stay open to possibilities? That's what
Yeah,
I
I think it is important to do that. Definitely.
It's easy to come up with all of these things that, all these barriers or all our must-haves, our non-negotiables,
I know.
and stay
Height,
single forever,
age, all the things, right? That the height thing drives me up the wall.
right?
And I'm assuming that that's different in the lesbian community.
Yeah,
No, you think, Denise? I don't.
a little. I don't think it comes up first.
Okay.
I think in the hetero community, for women especially, it's like everyone has to be 6 feet, right? Everybody wants someone that's 6 feet. No matter, they could be like 4'11" and they want someone at 6 feet. I think that in the queer community, it may come up like down the line of checklist. It's not as prioritized as it is in the hetero.
So refreshing. And
Yeah.
the people don't necessarily say, the women don't normally say over 6 feet, but it's very common to hear, oh, well, he's a little short for
Sure.
me, that kind of thing. And it's just,
Yeah.
it's annoying.
Where I see it come up with our clients is if I have a client that's like close to 6 feet, like 5'11", 6 feet,
Yeah.
or even taller. I've worked with clients even taller that want to have somebody not be too petite because then they feel like
Yeah.
they're huge.
They're
So
gonna crush
they'll
on
stay not shorter than 5'4" or 5'5".
Yeah. I respect that.
Yeah.
That
I
makes
can
sense.
respect that too, because it is kind of, I went out with someone that was 6'4", and it was kind of like uncomfortable for us to hold hand, like, where do I hold you, around your thigh? Like, you know what I mean? So I can get it, but I wouldn't have, I went out with them, so I wouldn't have said no just
Yeah.
based on height. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a client once and he was trying to explain to me, he just doesn't want to feel like he's going to crush the woman. He's just a really tall guy. And I was like, okay, this is making sense to me now.
It's tough though, because what's the average female height? 5'4".
Yeah, that's right. And what's the
And
average male?
5'9".
There
Uh-huh.
you go.
Yeah. We should just be together and let's not worry about it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it could be like, and like ideally, but I'm open to whoever's
Uh-huh.
That's right.
like the right person that you think,
Yeah.
because you're an expert, you're doing the interviewing, the vetting, and if you feel like this person's a good fit for me, even if they don't match my ideal height requirement or expectation, then I'm going to say yes.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
And how many matches have you made where the checkbox never matched up and people were ecstatically happy?
It's just all about the chemistry in the beginning.
It's
Let's
all,
be honest.
there you go.
That's what it is. I mean, think about it. It's like you might have on your list that you don't want somebody who has a child, maybe, but then you end up meeting the child. This happened with one of my clients. This was years ago. He said, I don't want to meet a woman, because he was like in his 60s, who has kids living at home. And he told me after the first date, it's probably not going to work out. And I was like, oh, what a bummer. But he went on a second date with her, and he went to her door, and her daughter, who wasn't supposed to be home, was home. And she was 16 at the time, opened the door. They ended up going out. I have chills because I love this story so much. They're so happy. They ended up going to like an outside, it was like up at the lake in Charlotte, to an outside venue overlooking the lake. And it was such a beautiful day. And he really connected with her daughter. And that was like a selling point for him instead. So, and then, they ended up getting married, and that daughter was much closer to him than his own son was from his first
Wow.
marriage. And so there can be something gained from anything. So just stay open.
Yeah. Good point.
So
Good
true.
point.
So true. So do you specialize in clients in the Carolinas? That's where your main focus is, or?
Yeah. So I have a database of upwards of 10,000 people. And the men hire me for matchmaking, and I select from my database for my male clients, and it's complementary to the women. And then I work with the women with online dating management. It's a 3-month program, and we get them online, and every week we're on a Zoom call with them. And I know it's similar to other matchmakers. It's very intensive. We help them with ideas on how to message. We also have a VIP where all the messaging is done, but normally people hire us just to do the work with them, so they learn. It's like teach a person to fish kind of thing. And then
Right.
teach them how to get a phone number. We'll run background checks on the guys for them. So it's really comprehensive. And then eventually it turns into relationship coaching. So
Mhm.
I've had like a bunch of clients recently who met somebody like first, second week. And I'm like,
Love
okay,
that.
I want you to keep dating. Don't jump into bed right away. Let's make sure they want to be monogamous so you can be exclusive before you get to that next level. Sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't.
That's right. Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't
So
control everything, apparently.
you have some rules, it sounds like. Can you share a little bit? Yeah, share some more of your rules.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's important to hold off on intimacy until you really are positive that this is somebody that you want to spend a good fair minute amount of time with them.
Mhm.
Obviously, there's some people that are like, I need to know right away if I've got the chemistry in bed before I commit to them. So it's kind of the reverse engineering. But I find that if you, as you continue to evolve with your emotional connection, that you that the sex is better anyway. So might as well hold off. And that also ensures you the ability to continue dating other people. And then you can kind of compare and contrast. A lot of people feel guilty dating other people if they're having sex with one person. So not always, but just in my experience, that is what I've heard. I've even heard, I'm talking to this person and I don't feel comfortable talking to more than one person at a time. It's people's preferences, whatever it is. I know one of my clients right now has gone on 3 dates with a guy. She's super excited about it. But I said, we got to keep going because he could drop off at any given moment. And she's hired me to do a program. And, then she gets to see, okay, how often does he text versus other people? Is he creating fun dates for me? Is this
Right.
somebody who I respect, somebody who is kind of relaxed around messaging. So that isn't love bombing me, isn't text bombing me, all the different things. And so far, so good. I am so excited about that one.
And you're putting her in the position to be the chooser, right? Because most of the time we are chosen and off we go. So
Yeah.
yeah, so when they really get to date in the true sense of what dating is all about, yeah,
Yes.
you're in the position to be the chooser. And I think that's so important.
It's
Yeah.
very empowering for a woman, I think, to be able to have options. I think
Mhm.
when women don't have options and they try to fit the person they're dating in, like they're trying to, it's like a lot of workarounds. Well, they do this, so I guess it's okay in this situation, and they don't have any choices. Versus if they're dating two or three different people, they could be like, okay, I definitely don't like this, so that one's out, and this one seems to be working. I'll keep him on the hook, and we'll keep dating different people and all the things. I don't want to be
Yeah.
repetitive, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
You feel
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you're seeing that with like the dating app experience because there aren't that many like solid quality potential matches. It's hard to find them. You got to be swiping a lot and, going on dates that are kind of less than exciting, where people
There
are
are
settling. They're going,
there
okay,
are
well,
there are so many great people online dating.
Mhm.
I find, at least in the Carolinas, there's plenty. I mean, obvious, if you think about it though, I always say this because most of my clients are looking for the 1 or 2%. So if you walked into a stadium filled with people, how many would you really date or be attracted to? Maybe it's one, maybe it's two, maybe, So think about that when you're online dating. Instead of being like, oh my God, I can't stand any of these people, just be like, okay, let's look at who there is and let's find like this one woman I'm dating with. She's just looking for this like a normal, like kind of preppy guy. That's all. It's not rocket science what she's looking for. He needs to be educated and have a good job. And she
Mhm.
wants to be attracted to him. So she's looking for somebody who's fit. And somebody who's mature, a mature man. That's what she's looking for. And that's who she's dating right now, which is
Yeah.
wonderful. But I mean, you can scan these photos so quickly and it is exhausting, which is why it's so nice to have a coach working with you on that. I
Yeah.
get tired. Like I always say, like if you start feeling fatigued in the middle of your prospecting for dates, take a break, walk away, make sure you're sober during your experience, make sure that when you're messaging someone that it feels like normal conversation. Like I had
Mhm.
this woman, one of my other clients, she said, does this sound right to you? I was like, no, block that guy. Because he went literally from 0 to 100 so fast and started firing questions and then said, here's my number, text me. And I'm like, whoa, why are you exchanging numbers yet? Like if you met somebody on a park bench or at a bar or something, You wouldn't be like poking the person, hi, how are you? What's your name? Are you this? Are you that? Here's my
Right.
number. So
Right.
like connect as you would in real life and see how people respond. If it feels weird or unusual, block them. Like I think that's the thing. People think that when they're online dating that it's like a different set of rules somehow, but it's not. It's the same rules. And when you're just getting to know someone, sometimes texting creates a false sense of intimacy.
Mhm.
Text so much. Get on the phone with them, see them more often, really try to get to know them in real life.
How long would you say is long enough to be communicating on the app first and then following through on communicating on your phones through SMS? Like,
Yeah. So when some people, some dating coaches that I know that you know as well, say keep everything on the app, because there's sort of a sense of urgency when you're on the app to get to the date. Once it goes to text, then it turns into
Mhm.
how's it going? How's your day?
That's right.
There's no urgency.
Mhm.
However, in order to do the background check, we need to get the phone numbers. So sometimes what we'll do is we'll say, hey, seems like we've got a lot going here. Why don't we jump off the app? What's your cell? Now, I always say to my women, don't give your phone number out. Get his number first. Let me run the background check because a lot of stuff has come up. You have to be
Wow.
super careful. And what I
Yeah.
tell people is jump on Truth Finder or Been Verified, both of them. That's what I do for my clients and do that check. If you have a phone number, an age, and a city, you can normally figure out who the person is and then go to criminal background check. But I've seen, assault, I've seen larceny, I've seen multiple DUIs. I mean, I'm sure you have too. And we don't need to be associated with any of those folks. It's one
Mhm.
thing if somebody had like a history, went into recovery, and then they're like a completely changed person. Okay, so we'll
Right.
set that example aside. And there are people that are in that situation. But I'll look at when was the most recent DUI? Was it a few when they were in their 20s and they've cleaned up and they say they don't drink anymore? Okay, this is a different story here. But if it's somebody recently, I just say there's no reason. There's plenty of people out there. You don't have to get involved with somebody who has criminal history, right?
Right.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, now I can't remember what you asked me. You were, why was
No,
I talking?
You
you
answered.
answered. So it
You
sounds like
answered.
really just get the communication happening within the
Yes.
app
Okay.
and get
Yeah.
a date on the books within the app.
Yeah, get a date on the books within the app and then say, hey, just in case I can't find you, what's your cell? And
Mhm.
I'll text you if I can. And that's when you run the background check. Or, if you want to do it sooner, you can. Don't like take a week, 2 weeks messaging
Way.
back and forth. You want to try anyone that is serious about wanting to be in a relationship is going to want to meet you that week.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
why I have a client
Mhm.
right now, and she's gonna be gone for like the next 12 days. And I'm like, there's no reason right now to be messaging somebody. Let's just take a week off and let's get back to it next Wednesday so that, the following Monday when you're back, you can start meeting people. That's realistic. And if you're kind of in
Mhm.
the middle of a conversation, just say, hey, I'm about to go on a vacation. Let me circle back when I get back. And hopefully they'll be like, okay, that sounds cool. And,
That sounds.
think they're getting the runaround.
And when you think about it, coordinating a date, do you usually recommend a coffee date or a lunch date or a hike?
Not a hike. That's way too many hours. Think about that. And driving. I would recommend coffee. Sometimes people will meet out for a beverage, an adult beverage or something like that, where maybe it's the vibe is a little more fun, or like a fun coffee spot, not just like a sparse bar, Caribou or, I'm about to say Barnes and Noble. Isn't that funny? Because I'm thinking about
Well,
Starbucks.
they have Starbucks in
Starbucks.
there.
They do have
Yeah.
Starbucks at Barnes and
So
Noble.
that
So
could
yeah.
be a fun date actually, because then afterwards you could walk around the bookstore, right? So it's fun to like choose a location where you can walk around afterwards, window shop or whatever to extend the date. But what's nice about a coffee date is you get your coffee and you could be in and out in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
If the guy's a creep or the woman is somebody that, didn't represent like the way that they said they did online, you can
Mhm.
leave. You can say, you know what, I have really enjoyed meeting you. I'm gonna get going. But thank you so much for meeting up. And you're out. There, you don't need to explain things. You don't have to say, I'm not attracted to you, any of the things. You just say, I'm gonna get going, but thank you.
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
if they misrepresent. You don't have to be so polite.
So we shouldn't say, yeah, you don't look anything like your photos. And I feel like definitely.
I've heard people do that kind of thing because they're disappointed, and it's not fair. Please don't, audience, please listen. It doesn't matter, what 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 you look like. Just make sure that you have recent photos
Yes.
and make them full length, by the way, because then you know that when somebody meets up with you, they're all in. They're like, "Yep, this is what I
Mhm.
signed up for," and
No
they're there.
surprises.
No
There's no,
surprises.
because it's
No
and
one
they
No
likes to
full
be surprised.
surprises and no from the top down surprises. No
yeah,
surprises.
they feel like,
Yeah,
yeah, they're
because sometimes people only show their face, right? Because they're larger or whatever.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
People don't want to feel duped from the beginning. I
No.
also
Mhm.
recently have been running background checks, and we find out what their age is. And when they lie about their age, it's annoying. Like I have a client right now, she met up with a guy, he said he was 48. We run the background check, he's 53. She still decided to meet him because she's like, okay, I get it. Like sometimes like guys want to meet women that are a little bit younger, so they'll put themselves right below that decade marker, so they show up on people's,
Yeah, the
profile
filter.
Yeah.
on
In the
their
search, in
in
the
the
field.
search.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. I get it, but admit it on the first date. Listen, here's the deal. I'm glad to meet you, but I do want you to know. But even that does not sit well with people. They're like, okay, we're starting off with a lie.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
I've seen it before where people will say they're a different age, and then in the caption, or in the description, they'll say, I'm actually 53, but I wanted to show up on your search. Do I love that? No, but I've seen it. I
Yeah.
just feel like just be honest from the beginning on everything, photos, age, all the things, what you're looking for. Don't say that you're looking for a relationship when you just want to have some fun right now and you're not really serious. Be truthful about everything. And then, it just starts off the relationship in a better manner.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the reasons why, online has gotten the rap that it has, right? Because there is no accountability there, you know? And who are you going to tell? Who are you going to check that with?
Yeah.
Right? So if someone does something wrong, so having, your profile managed by a matchmaker or having the coach to help you feel through is so beneficial for folks. And then there is that fatigue that you spoke about,
Yes.
because you could be so close to it, it can wear you out. And so having that neutral party is really beneficial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. 100%. It's
Yeah.
nice to have someone to talk about dates with and to see if you
Mhm.
feel like you're on track or if you're going crazy. And the thing is, a lot of times people just talk to their friends about it. But if you're going to your married friends about it, or other single people that are kind of jaded and they're so fed up, and you can get poor advice.
For
So
sure.
don't canvass everyone about everything. Like hire a coach, or maybe choose one trusted friend who understands the dynamic. Maybe they're not in quote competition with you. That's the other thing. Think about it. If all your girlfriends, right, are online dating, you're sort of dating the same pool of people. That can be hard. I mean, there's different, Facebook groups out there about um, that sort of are reporting on date people are reporting on dates they've gone on. And
Mhm.
those are interesting to read. However, also somebody might have a different experience. Like a woman might be like, I got ghosted by him. And it wasn't even ghosting. It was like she went on a date, he didn't like her, never called her again. That's not called ghosting.
That's right.
But
So it's
that
up for interpretation.
exactly. Yeah. So just be careful too with that kind of thing. But I do think women supporting women on a lot of these Facebook groups are really important.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because there are a lot of guys out there that are taking advantage of vulnerable women online dating, and I can't stand it.
So what are
Mhm.
these websites? What are they?
Well, I don't want to, it's Fight Club, one of the rules of
Got
Fight
it.
Club is to talk about Fight Club. But for
Okay.
any of you in
Okay.
the know, if you know.
Oh, I'm sure you can
Yeah.
do a Google search and find it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
also confirmation bias, right? We go to our friends that are single and dating, and they're just going to confirm what we're already, believing to be true. And sometimes
Mhm.
that creates a self-fulfilling prophecy where the outcomes are not, in our favor. So
Yeah.
just to be mindful of confirmation bias.
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah, all these ways. I mean, I believe in laws of attraction and energy and manifestation. So I'm just like, maintain a positive outlook, just like be clear about who it is that you want to meet, work on your vibration, improving your vibration, working on yourself personally so that you draw in the type of people that you're wanting to meet that are equals.
Yes, all of it. I am in 100% agreement with you. The higher vibration you have, the more you learn, the more self-care you do, you will draw in those human beings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure. And
Mhm.
think about it. If you're in a bad headspace right now, don't date. You know,
Yeah, I'm
attract
telling my
energy.
son that right now. He's like, yeah, okay, whatever, mom. I'm like, and then he goes, yeah, you do have a PhD in human behavior. I
Hello.
probably should listen to you, but there's always the but. I'm like, yeah, he just got his heart broken. And I'm like, I don't
That's
think now's the right time, buddy.
yeah, that's what happens is people have their heart broken. They think that it'll mend by substituting someone else rather than walking through the grief of a marriage or a relationship that just didn't work. And it's okay.
Yeah.
That being
We've always
said,
been told that,
yes.
right?
Oh
The way to
yeah.
get over someone is to get under someone
Oh
else.
yeah. Oh yeah. We've heard that. So graphic, right? Cool.
I'm so
But
sorry.
I,
Yeah,
I
great.
think
Thanks for that visual.
I think I'm joking, but 100%. And I think that that's more of like a dude thing, don't you?
Yeah. Well, because
Mentality.
they really can sort of shut off their emotions. They don't get attached so easily, and they can move through these situations without, not, I mean, not all of them, right? I don't want to
Yeah.
generalize, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think,
Men have
So
an
what would your
ability.
advice be for
Hmm,
someone that just experienced, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but what would be your advice be for someone that just went through, a breakup or
yeah.
just a disappointment online?
Yes. Well, take some time to kind of regroup and reframe and get your foundation settled again. So
Mhm.
I recommend meditation, even if it's just like 5 minutes in the morning, after you've had your coffee or whatever, and just kind of sit quietly. Because basically, what you need to do is you need to stop the ruminating in your mind. Because a lot of times when we break up with someone, not just a small online experience, but something deeper, is we keep thinking about it. Where did I go wrong? What was the moment when they stopped loving me? I should have seen that sign. If I had said this, maybe it would have turned into that. And then just like the general, they're in your frontal cortex just all the time, thinking about them all the time without even realizing. You wake up in the middle of the night, you think about them, you think about them in the morning, you think about them all day long. You definitely don't want to bring somebody in when you're in that mode. So meditation is a great way to do that. There's a great book called The Untethered Soul, which talks about
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys have read that or not, but it talks about sort of that energy system that is created that gets like really deep into your soul when you're thinking about something a lot, and sort of how to release that. So recommend that to people. You can listen to it if you're not into reading. And also, I think it's important to kind of get involved with some new things. If you start something that I think is very exciting about being in a relationship is learning about that person and trying new things like their hobbies and things like that and meeting their friends. So if you can kind of substitute that in a way where it's like, okay, I'm trying this new activity. I am learning about this new topic. I am listening to this new music. Anything new can be uplifting.
Yeah.
So try that kind of thing and then journal.
mhm.
Get your thoughts down on paper. If you're worried about people reading it, burn it. Um,
Yes.
and then lastly, do like sage your house, like get rid of the vibes. Release that energy somehow spiritually with the universe so that you can have some kind of ceremony. Like I was talking to somebody recently, one of my clients, he's a widower, and I said, you had a ceremony when you got married, and perhaps you need to have a ceremony when, your wife has passed away. And
Mhm.
like, people don't really talk about that. So what does that look like? And
Mhm.
sometimes it is the process of burying somebody, but there's so many feelings that go along with it that last for so many years. So it needs to be kind of a continual situation.
You could also reorganize, like just, I know when I got divorced, I'm like, a lot of the same furniture, I didn't have the money to get rid of everything and buy fresh. So
Yes.
I rearranged everything.
Yes. There's
Make it
nothing.
your own again,
Yes.
right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like I got a couple new pillows this weekend and put them on my couch, and I was like, okay, why didn't I do that sooner? Small investment, big reward. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
be small changes that go a long way, have a big impact.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Heartbreak is tough, man. It's just like
But
also,
we go through it. Like, and you're right, we have to go through that grieving process,
Yeah.
and you have to give yourself space to be able to do that. It's no rushing it, and everyone comes through on their own time.
it's also not fair to pull somebody else into that, right? Like then you start
Right.
using another person to help get over your own grief. Like let's be kind and considerate of other people's feelings, you know?
Sometimes there's also heartbreak over a relationship that never even started. You know, the one that you want so badly and you try every which way to make it happen and you just
Mhm.
can't figure out how to do it. And it's like you put your all into this like idea of what this great relationship could be like. And I'm sure that that probably happens a lot in the lesbian community because you're friends with people and you get along so well and you're hoping that it might turn into something. You're kind of biding your time. Does this sound familiar?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Well, because
sure.
sometimes the lines
Certainly.
get blurred and you can't tell, wait a minute, are we
Friends,
friends or is there
more than
something else
friends.
here?
Yeah.
Because female friendship, there's intimacy. Even in
Yeah.
platonic female friendships, there's intimacy. We cuddle with our
Yeah.
girlfriends, right? We hold
Well, you
hands.
cuddle with your girlfriends, Frankie.
I wait a minute,
We
maybe
talked about this
What?
on my
What?
podcast. Well, I don't know. I
What?
mean, I don't cuddle with my
Oh yeah,
girlfriends.
we talked about this. I forgot.
I cuddle with my girlfriends.
Do
Wait,
you?
tell me. Wait,
Wait,
share. Wait.
what does cuddle mean
I
to
know,
you?
I remember. I was so
We
surprised.
snuggle, we lock arms when we walk. We
Okay,
sit
locking
on the
arms.
couch. We'll sit on
I'll
the couch and hold on if it's a scary movie.
okay, scary movie.
Or
Okay.
if it's a romantic scene, we may be like, oh, you
Okay,
don't do that with your bestie?
that's different. Okay, what you're describing is a
Okay.
little bit different, I think, than what Frankie and I were talking about.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
do you like lean in and put your arm around your girlfriends
Yeah, absolutely.
for long periods of time?
Absolutely. Depending on the situation or what I hold faces, we nuzzle noses. Heck yeah.
I mean, it's just I
Is it
don't think
weird?
it is not weird. I mean, I
Okay.
I love it. But do you hold hands as you walk with your girlfriends?
Sometimes.
Okay. All right.
Like,
I think I think it's a shorter period. If it happens for me, I might like grasp a friend's hand for a moment, for maybe we'll cross the street holding hands and then we're done. Or I put my arm around somebody for a minute or two, and then it's finished. We don't walk for long periods of time like that. If I
So I
snuggle on a couch, I might rest my head in in their shoulder for I don't know, a few minutes and then it's finished. It's not long.
so interesting. Because I'm just
Yeah.
sitting here
that's
thinking, like, I
interesting.
went on vacation with a really close friend and her
Mhm.
partner and everything. And I'm on the couch. She has her head on my lap. We're all sitting in the living room laughing, having a couple drinks. Her
Yeah.
girlfriend's sitting right there, and her head is on my lap for like
Yeah.
2 hours. Then last week in New York at the conference, I saw one of my besties, and we're holding hands. We kissed on the lips.
Okay.
It's totally platonic.
I'm totally there with you, Frankie. I'm
Kissing
so there with you. That
on the
is
lip?
so, I, yes.
Okay. That is not my experience. I'm not opposed
Okay.
to it,
I
by the
hear
way.
you. I
So
hear you.
my
I
point,
I never,
but
yeah.
I
my
would love it, but I don't do it. I don't
my
do that.
point is that it can get blurry.
Yes.
And
Yes.
with women interested in women, it's like sometimes they're like clients of mine in session, they're like, I can't tell, or they email me. Can
Yeah.
you help me decipher whether this person's interested in me? Because I can't tell. And sometimes, yeah, you just have to have a conversation because
Yeah.
to name it. And sometimes people aren't ready to actually acknowledge, or they're not even conscious, it's unconscious. So they're just taken aback, like,
Yeah.
wait, we're friends. What are you talking about? And you're going, wait a minute. Oh shit. You don't feel what I'm feeling. You're not seeing what
Right.
I'm seeing. And then it can be
Right.
awkward.
Oh yeah. 100.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. I think sometimes we choose just not to say anything and enjoy the connection that we're having. And other times we just, it's gnawing at us so much that we actually have to put words to it and have a conversation and take the risk of maybe even losing that friendship.
Yeah.
Right.
You
But
know,
if they're a real friend, I think that they'll get over it.
I would hope
Mhm.
so.
I really do. So I encourage people to really speak their truth. And then it'll help that person kind of get over the situation.
And if not, it's like you spoke your truth and that's all we can do is
That's
like
all you can do.
be in control of ourselves and make our own
Mhm.
choices and let other people, right? It's their journey, it's their path to
Yeah,
forge.
exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm
How
just
did we even get
laughing.
on that? How did we
I
get
don't
on
know,
this?
but I'm
Like,
just laughing,
I don't
thinking
know.
Frankie doesn't kiss me on the lips. Frankie doesn't put her head in my lap. Which friend?
mind you,
Frankie,
it's
what?
taken, these are people that I've known. My friend Laurie that was on my lap, I've known 22 years. She was my first friend that I made moving to California from New York City.
Uh-huh.
And then
Uh-huh.
Eve is a 18-year friendship. So
I
I'm
got I
really
got
I'm touchy-feely, but it takes years to get to that, I think.
I got 16 more years till I get a
I
kiss on the lips by Frankie.
know. But I'm really affectionate with you for a new friend.
You are.
I think so.
No,
That's
we
so
are.
funny.
We're burgeoning besties.
I know. Yeah. You know how it's so nice when you like, even with Denise, like immediately we met for the first time. She's been working for Little Gay
In New
Book for
York.
a year. We just
Okay.
met
Yeah.
last week in New York and we were all together at
In
the
New York, the
conference.
first time. That was the
And
first, yeah.
immediately comfortable and just like so familiar. It's like such a blessing. What a gift, you know?
Cool.
Yeah.
Love
I
it.
wonder if it partially it's because we're drawn to like helping, like supporting people and finding love. And we care about people. We're natural connectors that we're just,
Yeah.
it's likeness, it's sameness. So it feels
Yes.
familiar and similar. Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
All
Yeah, I
right,
think you
Laurie.
find your tribe.
Yeah. For
I
sure.
feel lucky to find my tribe.
Yeah.
So Laurie, tell us, how do folks find you? And just repeat again, like what services you offer.
Yeah.
And I know I have to say you have awesome social media. You post, kudos to you. I commend you. I don't know how you find time to do it. I love your videos. I find them so interesting and they make me laugh. You have great
Aw.
humor and yeah. So how can people get connected with you and learn more?
Yeah, thank you. I put a lot of time and effort into my socials. So at Carolinas Matchmaker, basically everywhere.
Mhm.
And it's Carolinas Matchmaker, Matchmaker singular, Carolinas Matchmaker. Even though I have a team that works with me. And yeah, I'm everywhere, TikTok, all the different things. And the programs I offer are matchmaking for men, and then I help women with online dating management. And I help some men with online dating as well, but a lot of times women will hire me for that. And yeah, those are my programs.
Awesome. And do you do coaching as well?
Yeah, there's coaching involved with both programs for sure. Yeah, that's a deep, deep part of everything because we want to go over the epiphanies and how things are going with the relationship and when to cut bait and, just different techniques, all the things.
What if somebody just wanted to coach with you?
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that for sure. I have a client right now that can't get over her heartbreak, and we're just doing a lot of coaching so that she'll be ready to get online dating. Yes.
Mhm.
Hmm.
That's awesome. And I bet your social work, like your therapy background, because I know even though it's a social work degree, you probably
Yeah.
did therapy before.
So I have not my degree was in community organization. So I've never really done therapy. And the work that we do as coaches is more coaching than therapy for sure, making that distinction because I didn't keep up with my licensure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's
Mhm.
let me just say this for listeners. So it's more like solution focused, goal oriented, here and now coaching work. Whereas therapy is really peeling back the layers, going way back
Mhm.
into the past and really staying in it and digging deep. So
Exactly.
people want to see changes quickly, behavioral changes, the way we think about things, perceptual changes. Coaching is where it's at. So Laurie's fantastic. I encourage you
Yeah.
all, get on her social media. Oh my gosh, I hardly do social media. I only do it really for work. And then when I get on there, oh, I'm so thrilled to see her face and all the awesome, just so many gems of knowledge and silliness, playfulness, which we need every day. We need to be laughing every day, like all
We
day.
do.
Yeah.
We really do. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being a guest on Love Laughs.
Thank you, Laurie.
Such a pleasure.
Yes.
Yeah. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in. And we will see you all next week for another fantastic episode. Kisses, hugs. Bye, everyone.
Bye.